Hey guys, one of the most frequently asked questions I'm asked about security cameras is what type or style of camera should I buy? In this video we're going to do a subjective and objective comparison of the differences between the dome, turret and bullet cameras. First off, I've been using the Hikvision cameras for about 4 years. So, by the way, this is not a paid advertisement. If there's something I like about the camera, I'll tell you. If there's something I don't like, I'll definitely share it. So people often ask me why I picked one type of camera over another for a certain location. I initially thought that the bullet cameras were more rugged and better suited for outdoors with better night vision. I thought the dome cameras were better for indoors, and I thought the turrets were made out of plastic, and I didn't choose to purchase any of those initially. So let's have a quick look at these different types of cameras. The fact is that they all have very similar inner specs, and the guts of these cameras are pretty much identical. Same megapixels, same sensors, same PoE setup. So we're not going to be reviewing that part of the camera. We're going to be reviewing the shape and why I picked one camera for a certain location over another. So I'm also not going to be touching on these cameras. These are more for indoors. There's a Hikvision and a Foscam PTZ camera, point, tilt and zoom. Great for looking at pets or having in a location where you are watching kids or something like that. So a quick point on the price. These cameras are about $150 each Canadian or about $120 American. If you shop around, you can get better prices on the Chinese versions of these cameras. So the dome cameras, they look great when they're installed professionally. They look very clean. The wiring is through the base and it can be mounted so that no wires are visible once it's installed. The dome camera is also vandal resistant. It has a hard plastic cover over the front and the body is metal. There are 3 screws keeping it attached to the base to keep it very sturdy, and then 3 screws on the front to access the camera. They require a special star key to open the camera, making it more secure, and the nature of the dome keeps it makes it more difficult to hit with a bat or a golf club, or to even rip manually with your hands from its mount. There are no glares. The cover can be cleaned a couple of times per year, but I find that there's no glare from the sun or light that shines on the camera. The screws on the camera don't come all the way out, so you don't lose them. I really like that feature because the last thing you want is always falling to the ground when you're doing an install. So let's talk about things I don't like with this camera. I don't like that the screw holes don't align to a junction box. All my drops come into a junction box and I need some sort of adapter to install, and then that's an extra cost. Next, I don't like that the dome isn't tinted. If it were tinted, the image would be a little bit darker, but then it would be very difficult to tell which direction the camera would be pointing, and that's a little bit more intimidating. I'd like to definitely give it a try and see if it works out. But I also don't like that you cannot adjust the camera once it's been installed. You need to remove the cover and then access the camera inside. There's also a plastic turret inside that's very difficult to remove and then to put back on. So adjusting it is a bit of a pain after it's mounted. Okay, so we're going to talk about the bullet camera. Some of the things I like about those is they are easy to install. There's no need to remove the cover like it is for the dome camera. They install into a junction box cover, which can then be installed onto a junction box. It's also easy to adjust the camera's direction once it's installed. And finally, there are no visible wires. I like that. It's nice to clean install. The wires come up from the bottom of the camera and then they tuck inside of the junction box. So you notice I don't have a bullet camera here with me. I've actually replaced them all with dome cameras. So I don't like the bullet cameras how they are not vandal resistant. They are like an apple hanging from their mount. You can easily grab hold of them or turn them. I don't like the nature of the bullet camera. I also don't like how they attract bugs. They often have a shade over the front and spiders love to get in there and build webs, and then you're cleaning spiders out every few days in the summertime. I also don't find they're very attractive. When you have a dome camera compared to a bullet camera, I would definitely go with the dome. And finally, let's talk about the turret. It's like a bullet camera where it's easy to install. The mount is on the bottom here and pops off fairly easily, and then the mounting holes are right here. It can be secured securely to your mounting surface. The camera itself is made out of metal and it feels like it's really good quality. The point of view can be adjusted after it's installed just by moving it up and down or turning it back and forth. What I don't like about this camera is that it does not fit onto a junction box, just like the dome camera. You need to buy an adapter to have it fit on, which again is an extra cost. Also, the base is plastic. When it's outdoors for a few years, in the summer heat and in the minus 40-degree winters, I'm not sure how good that's going to hold up. Also, there's no way to tighten the camera. The point of view can be changed without having to use any screws or to loosen anything up. Somebody could easily come and turn the camera. The only advantage of this would be if you needed to change the camera's point of view on a regular basis. And lastly, bugs. The camera lens is actually indented a little bit, and bugs have a tendency to hang out there. So in summary, I like to use these turret cameras indoors, like in a garage or in a basement, where I'm not worried about somebody coming up to my home and moving them. I like to use the domes outside. They're vandal resistant. I don't need to clean them off very often. Great weatherproof, great quality, and has a nice install. Outdoors, indoors. So don't forget, the setup that I have is quite complicated. All my cameras are configured and fed into a designated computer where I use software to manage the recording. If you're just starting out or looking for an easy solution, I would go with a kit of domes. Costco has some, and Swan has some, and I also think Hikvision has some. So thanks for checking out this video. If you have additional pros and cons you would like to talk about, please leave them in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see what else I'm up to, please subscribe to my channel.